quite have the tools to stabilize, and so Kingzone can use that to their advantage too.
And I feel like Kingzone need to be very decisive in their plays that they make towards that late game as well, because the range advantage is with SANDBOX, as we hear from the fans. So here we are, game 1 of the final day of week 1 of LCK Summer. Rascal will be piloting the Camille on towards the top side. Weren't sure exactly where these solos were going to go until the last seconds of Champion Select, but that's what they've gone with, as our first shot has been brought out here by Summit, who lands that Shock Blast onto Cuzz, and Cuzz doesn't really mind too much about it. How will these lanes work out, though, is the question that's on my mind. The Ryze versus Syndra and the Jayce versus Camille.
Jayce versus Camille, that's a real blast to the past.
Yeah.
That has been
sounds like a dangerous one. I'm like having flashbacks to, you know, crazy making bad decisions in matchups similar to this one. It was, I believe, the Jax matchup that was the famous misplay. But into the Jayce, you'd have a feeling that the Camille's not going to be getting too much work done in the early stages, given the range advantage of Mr. Jayce.
And also, I mean, Summit's one of the best Jayce players.
Yeah, one of the best top laners here in Korea.
Yeah, one of the best top laners, but the Jayce is definitely something he is capable of piloting, which isn't what you can say actually for most tops. Even when you refer to someone that is a elite top laner, he's a very special champion, very akin to Azir in many ways, where it takes certain players to be able to actually pilot him at the professional level. And so here, Camille already starting off with a little bit of a rough lane state. And the thing that we really have to just keep our eyes on is the first 10 minutes of the game, because if for any reason Kingzone gets edges in mid or top lane, that's not supposed to happen, and SANDBOX's team composition doesn't have the tools to stabilize. So even though Kingzone want to go super late game with the way that they drafted this out, and they have a lot of oomph starting from around the 3-item mark, doesn't mean that they necessarily get there.
They'll have some opportunities as Summit throws out some harassment, but Rascal's actually dealing with this relatively well as far as health bars are concerned. It's not showing up so much in the CS, as the hookshot is going to land the stun, but otherwise not too much is going to come out. Rascal just wanting to get as many of these creeps as he can possibly find, and so far it's been rough.
Let's take a look at what the junglers are actually doing. OnFleek elected to clear out his entire jungle, and this is a really interesting gank path.
Well, Summit, a few buttons now on cooldown as tactical sweep comes in. We're gonna land the stuns. In fact, all of them. The knockups come in. Permafrost goes down. This should be first blood going to Kingzone. One of the edges that you were talking about. It goes over to Cuzz. No hookshot cooldown available just yet. OnFleek says, I want a Rift Scuttler. I can't help.
If you look at the lane state, Sejuani's recalling in the brush. This makes it so that Summit can't TP to the minion wave, which was slight freezing in front of the Camille, so he has to take a much safer route. You can see he's even coming down into the river right now. He wants to plant a ward. He doesn't want to get Bengied.
Yeah.
That would be really rough.
This minion wave's in a great spot for Rascal, though, if there was any follow-up gank to come in. Rascal held onto his flash, Cuzz did also. The investment into that gank was super low. As Deft and TusiN battling against Joker and Ghost. The cleanse coming out here from Joker very aggressively, as the Aatrox was thinking about a gank, but Kingzone not going to find too much. It's just a trade of summoners from these supports in the heal and the cleanse.
And one of the things I want to talk about the Aatrox jungle that was so interesting is he actually invaded Cuzz's jungle and should have been able to tell Summit that something was definitely off with the Wraith camp being the way that it was and the timing that he arrived inside of the red side jungle, but nothing was conveyed. Aatrox jungle is very similar to Camille jungle in the sense that it has to get kills, it has to get ahead. Otherwise, you're basically getting a very stunted Aatrox in the early to mid transition, and that's not something that you want to have. So the fact that we're already at 5 minutes here and he's sort of run around the map and not achieved too much, can't be feeling too good for him.
Well, OnFleek still has some opportunities, and he is a camp ahead when it comes to at least farming things out. Cuzz on the bottom side is actually pretty comfortable here as Naehyun takes a bit of an awful trade, but Rune Prison is going to allow for the Aftershock to help him. 38-32 though, I mean, nothing doing here as far as advantages for Dove in the mid lane. And when you see a Syndra, you expect them to get ahead. Otherwise, things can go wrong, unless it's Rookie. I feel like if I'm watching Syndra be played and they don't have a lead, if it's Rookie, then that's okay. If it's anyone else, it's not okay.
So far in mid lane, I do have to say that Dove is not doing the best of jobs. He has an extremely slight CS lead, but Naehyun has yet to use teleport, and Dove is not feeling so good.
And that's one of those things you have to deal with Ryze as well, right? It's like trying to stop the back timing to go and get the tier. And right now, Naehyun's actually playing with borrowed time. Like, he can go back whenever he wants and get even more than just that tier. So, feeling pretty comfortable is the Kingzone mid laner. Finds himself in a starting role after Fawn's medical issues took him out of the roster. But if he can continue playing well, then no one's going to fault this Kingzone team having Naehyun in there instead of Fawn, who was certainly performing better in the spring season, but has always been that loose cannon.
So far in this game, I think Naehyun's doing a pretty good job. He still has yet to use his teleport. Lane state is actually really good right now if he would use it.
And he probably will. Grabs a couple of Sapphire Crystals and then teleports back.
Yep, and he's TPing right on top of the minion wave. He's gonna be able to proc Aftershock.
I find it really interesting, the double Sapphire Crystal pickup. Wants the power now rather than start stacking the tier, just to get himself as good a position in this lane as he can possibly find. I can respect that, given the matchup into the Syndra. Might mean that Cuzz is going to be able to come back around to help shove things and give him a gank, as he will pick up this blue buff. A bit of a shift in the night situation there with the Aatrox turning up mid. Just helping get that lane shoved forward.
He's going to shove out the wave. Curious to see if he just walks up and begins shoving the next wave as a way to try to punish Syndra. Interestingly, Syndra actually picks up the Sork Pen boots.
Yeah, also wanting power now.
Yeah. And the Sork Pen boots with the 3 corrupting potions, she should be able to sustain into the next blue buff, and then the blue will help sustain the mana. So there's no need to get any of the mana items going for her just yet. She can rely on the upcoming blue once her mana starts getting low to keep her around, and thus the mobility granted by the boots as well as the penetration will end up allowing her to actually have more options.
Yep, another back timing here for Naehyun as well, who finally picks up his tier. So he's down by 5 CS, no worries there. As backs coming in for almost everyone. It's going to be the core field. Deft building towards his Essence Reaver as item number 1. Some understandable stuff here for Sivir. That's nice little burst there. It's going to stun up Ghost, who gets hit by at least 1 tick of the Boomerang Blade.
One of the surprising things right here is they know about Cuzz's red side timing, and Aatrox actually could have snuck the Infernal Dragon right now. But he elected to go into his golems, which is a little bit surprising given his bottom lane and mid lane were definitely going to be in the driver's seat and having priority. And it actually doesn't take Aatrox that long to solo the dragon. And they would know that Kingzone doesn't have any intel on it, and it would be almost unfathomable to assume that Kingzone would be able to snip it out based on all the control that SANDBOX has had on the map. So,
not to mention the fact that SANDBOX are more powerful at this stage of the game, just with the champions and the position in the game that they are. So they should be taking advantages like that. Shelly's going to be spawning in a minute's time. That might be where they decide to put that pressure, because I think playing around these 2 pushing solo lanes is going to be an easy way to claim that advantage and then transition it into extra turret plating that they will be able to get. As Deft and TusiN are able to shove this wave pretty effectively with the push power that Sivir does provide. And bottom side of the map is something that will be more difficult for the SANDBOX team to play around, as OnFleek is going to be able to put away the Rift Scuttler. Okay, Cuzz aggressively onto OnFleek here, but Winter's Wrath not going to be utilized. Kingzone actually just looking to play more aggressive towards the top side. Rascal looks a bit silly there as he fails to hookshot over the wall.
So right now, if you're looking at all of the lanes and wondering what is really going on, you should actually feel pretty comfortable if you're a Kingzone fan. Things are not going bad by any means, and everything is going quite well. Summit trying to get some damage down.
Has to get devoured here. And you're exactly right. TusiN and Deft are going to be immune to damage, and Naehyun's going to get delivered a kill. Flashes forward, takes down Ghost. Realm Warp will position him to try and take down Joker. Doesn't flash forward. Can't, in fact, because he'd used it before, and Joker will survive. But the second kill going over to Kingzone.
Definitely a nice roam play by Naehyun there. Cuzz going to be able to cover the mid lane. Dub should be able to still get some chip damage here onto the turret before Ryze could return. He's actually not going to elect to do it. I guess doesn't want to potentially risk miscalculating Naehyun's MS and then getting hit by a Sejuani ultimate and being forced to use a summoner.
Well, Rascal uses his hook shot to dodge a shock blast. That's one way of doing it, and we're finally there. So you're exactly right. Aatrox is going to be pretty comfortably able to take down this Infernal Drake, but Cuzz is on the map. He's now up towards the top side. Not a lot of vision available for SANDBOX up here.
And he's able to do this because he knows where Cuzz is. He's able to track what his movements are likely to be. The enemy bot lane is resetting, and you know that Ryze is also coming off a reset, so it's extremely unlikely that Kingzone would be able to do anything to interrupt him. And so the Infernal Dragon pickup for this team comp is massive.
Well, Summit, we'll see whether he actually pushes out further, because Cuzz has snuck into this brush and was unseen on his journey towards the top side. He's going to go for a back ride here to keep his position a mystery.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, he's going to take the wrong way towards
Summit's
this top
quick,
side. Cuzz, though, might be rewarded for being patient here towards the top side. They are being super patient. Throws out the ultimate. The permafrost will be there as well, but OnFleek turns up in the nick of time. Hextech ultimatum is down as OnFleek is looking for this damage. Finally, the Aatrox is getting some work done, but Kingzone aren't going to lose any flashes or any lives.
I actually really like what SANDBOX is doing right there, and I hope I get to talk about it in a replay, because the positioning is actually really important for Jayce and to allowing them to do what they just did. And now they're going to be rewarded by getting some plates, and this is the type of accelerant this team composition by SANDBOX wants here. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Infernal Chains, Rascal down to half health. The Summit as well takes a cheap turret shot, so he's not super healthy. But when we have a look at the result of this situation, it's a few turret plates going over to the Jayce, which is exactly what you want as a SANDBOX fan. Jayce is almost guaranteed at least 3, right? You pick him so that he can have that lane dominance and so he can slaughter these turrets effectively, and already those 3 turret plates have gone over to Summit. 13 minutes on the clock. Shelly hasn't been attacked just yet, so those plates are most likely going to go wanting that she would be able to provide, almost guaranteed.
Now the bottom lane shoving in Sivir, though. No stranger to wave clear, as Kingzone look like they really want to start on this Rift Herald. Deft doesn't quite have teleport available yet, and Sir Thomas and Varus are already moving up river. They're actually going to get the Scuttle Crab.
Yep, comfortably able to grab a little bit of extra money there. Naehyun going to step aside from that scat of the week. And it's starting to feel like Dove's window to really punish this Ryze is getting smaller and smaller. The Merc Treads are already in. Naehyun is very close to picking up that Archangels, and the tier has been stacking for quite some time, so that Seraph Shield can't be too far off. And, as soon as Ryze can stand in front of a Syndra and she can't all in him, things can get dangerous. The Summit's going to face check. Stun is going to come forward so easily. The flash to guarantee the kill comes out of Rascal. Not sure how necessary it was, but that's going to put a 3-0 at the top of the screen for Kingzone.
And that was a really good pickup right there. It allows them to have all the control around the Herald, and Summit doesn't have teleport available. Now, the plates are already gone, so Shelly most likely just going to be converted into getting 1 turret, so it's not the biggest victory, but definitely still a win for Kingzone here, as the goal score at the top is pretty even. You do have to factor in the Infernal Dragon, and the game will slow down on the next Drake, as it's only a Clown Drake.
Yeah, but if the game is slow, then you still feel good if you're a Kingzone fan.
Yep.
So SANDBOX still with the onus on them to make things happen. As I actually, I think I was a little bit wrong when I said that the flash was unnecessary, because that CC bar was about to go down.
Yeah,
Flash
and then
is
Jayce
still
can
available.
flash over.
이거 전령 치자 이거. 캔치 올라왔어.
Tahm Kench is coming.
Still really nice stuff here from Kingzone. Rascal guaranteeing that he can get himself a little bit more of an advantage, as 2 turret plates to 1, but these turret plates actually went down with no one present. So that's why the 0 gold is going to be there. Kingzone unable to make use of that money.
Yep.
But it's something that, as Kingzone, you're okay with, right?
Yeah.
If you limit the amount of turret plates to 3, that feels real good. Scat of the week coming out here from Dove. Not going to have that cooldown, but Kingzone not going to play too aggressive.
You didn't draft this team composition to win early.
No.
You drafted this to go 30+ minutes and then have a pretty easy time against the opposition. And everything is very stable and solid. Looks like they want to get the bottom tier 1 turret out of the way, which is a little bit surprising, considering if you get that one, it's almost unfathomable that you'll get the top tier 1, given that Camille won't be able to move Jayce at all for quite a while.
Well, it just means that Deft is going to be freed up from this lane. They'll be able to park him in the mid lane. He can continue wave clearing. They get a bit of a swap going on, but Inner Turret is now under fire here, and Kingzone might need to move some of their resources towards his top side or risk losing that as well. Dazzle not going to find the mark as Deft goes down very low. Great spell shield keeps him alive, and now Cuzz is going to turn up. Is the Devour going to be available? It's used, but relatively quickly. Cosmic Radiance will keep Kingzone alive, but maybe a bit of a waste of a button as they weren't able to push any further forward. Dove takes an overload in the mid lane. SANDBOX are able to stabilize. That means that inner turret goes down without too much of a response here from Kingzone, and they will be able to get themselves a Constellation Clown Drink, which is not exactly what you want to be wearing.
Definitely not.
The Constellation Clown.
There it is.
Real bad. It's like, we couldn't buy you a pony. I'm sorry, you're going to have this clown at your birthday party. It's not what you want.
That was like picking Bulbasaur.
Oh, Bulbasaur was
what?
He was my first starter. That's what I went with the first time around.
So that's what happened to you.
Yeah, and every time the evolutions came in, I'm like, why is my cute Bulbasaur getting uglier? What's happening? Hey, at least you evolved the earliest. Because back in the day, it was level 32 that you got your Venusaur.
Yeah.
And it was 36 for both Blastoise and the Charizard. So higher value for 4 levels, eh?
There you go. There you go. And it helped you get past Brock.
Yep.
Think about it.
You were fantastic for the first 2 gyms. If you were going to speedrun, I think you'd be choosing the Bulbasaur, because then once it's like super high level,
I don't even actually know.
Do
you know what the correct Pokemon is?
For speedrunning? I think it might be Bulbasaur.
Really?
I don't know. I actually don't know about red and blue speedrunning.
Okay.
Maybe it's just Charmander, because Charizard's way better than everything else. I don't know.
At least you know.
Let us know in the comments below what the best speedrunning Pokemon is. In fact, tweet at us. That's probably a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Because there are no comments below.
Twitch chat's to the right.
Yeah.
I like this.
Naehyun underneath his outer turret on the bottom side. OnFleek is lurking. Summit's down here as well. And Naehyun's going to make the intelligent choice to move the heck away from this turret, as Kingzone have their own pressure on the top side. No Sheen built up just yet to this Camille, but she will be very, very dangerous in front of these turrets as this game goes on. 3 turrets to 1 is going to be the advantage here for SANDBOX, but it is still those 3 kills to 0 in advantage for Kingzone, so they're still very comfortable with the state of the game at this point in time.
And at this point, oh, well.
Right, we're going to have a missed ultimate. The hookshot is going to land. Great scatter of the week there from Dove. Try and keep him alive as Rascal's dancing around underneath the enemy turret. Stopwatch is used. Good flash from Dove. Keeps him alive as now TusiN's behind enemy lines and can't keep up with the rest of his team. They're getting routed without their Taric hookshot. Gets Rascal out of the front line as Naehyun has to flash. And Kingzone will be safe, but they'll have to lose their mid laner's splash button.
Both of these teams are actually playing the disengages really well as just the turret defenses. I really do have to hand it to SANDBOX. The way that they played the bottom tier 2 from Joker and Ghost, as well as just how they played the top.
Yeah, the top siege was also fantastic, like you mentioned. Kingzone in position now, and they're going to start the teleport. Rascal's going to come back forward as TusiN goes golden. I was going to try and make his way in, but he's at half health. Great tactical sweep. A lot of damage coming in here as Cosmic Radiance will arm as Cuzz has to flash to get out of the way. Not a heck of a lot of value, as it was a great disengage from SANDBOX, who now try and turn it around. Naehyun into his own stopwatch, and Overload's doing so much damage. Everyone has a low health bar, but no one is going to die just yet.
And these team fights are actually so close with so many low HP bars. Everyone's going to have to go back and
Look at all the broken stopwatches in these inventories, man. There's, I think Captain Hook's here, you know? He really hates them watches. He's stamping them all out as the flash forward from TusiN started this fight off.
Yeah, and we take a look at it, TusiN going into stopwatch. Rascal goes on to Aatrox. What they wanted to try to do is stop him from getting any resets. Really close call on Cuzz, and a good devour by Joker, and then things just kept getting chaotic. And if Naehyun didn't miss some of his skill shots, maybe some things could have gone a little bit better. But nonetheless, it was a really close team fight on both sides.
Yeah, a lot of summoner spells now on cooldown, though. Yeah. Most importantly, Deft held on to his flash. So as far as 80 carries are concerned, I have a feeling the King Zone will be able to be a little bit more aggressive. Deft also going for, I guess, the harder hitting 2-item power spike, with the Infinity Edge being completed as second item, with the Essence Reaver having that crit back on it. It is more high value, but you're just not going to quite have the attack speed to augment it that something like a Phantom Dancer would have provided. But Deft is certainly going to be hitting like a truck, especially with the Boomerang Blades.
Yeah.
As far as 2-item power spikes are concerned, because that flat damage is a huge one. Another ultimate, this time going to go wide now is Dove in trouble. OnFleek is up here as Naehyun is going to turn up. Aftershock's going to get in there as they do. Get rid of the Syndra. Rascal very, very low though as OnFleek diving forward. He had the last remaining stopwatch, but it's not going to keep him alive for too much longer. It's 3 real quick kills for SANDBOX as they finally put themselves on the board. Flash has to be used here from Deft to finally get his way out. That is fantastic, but the Grey Health is going to get eaten, and the fantastic things are going to be coming out of SANDBOX more often than not. King Zone lose 4, and Deft is the last man standing.
And it looks like they're going to set their eyes on Baron. And if they get this is going to be really difficult for King Zone to try to hold off and stabilize here at 23 minutes. Most likely the sieges.
Oh wow, he doesn't even have a ward to put into this Baron hit either, so Deft can't check it. I mean, if you think about the ricochets throughout these low health members of SANDBOX, but the health bar for Summit and Ghost too high. Deft 1v4 was not going to happen, so Baron at 22.5 minutes is really going to solidify an advantage for SANDBOX.
And we'll take a look at how this all ends up unfolding. Cuzz not having the best Sejuani ultimates this match. Nonetheless, they end up getting the kill on Dove at the north. But Rascal taking so much damage and shaking the fight onto OnFleek. He goes into the stopwatch, doesn't matter, minigame completed. As Aatrox gets the reset for his World Ender, going on to Deft. Abyssal Voyage taken to get the flank onto him as well. TusiN with a beautiful stun on Taric. But the gray skin, I mean, that's pretty thick.
It was real thick. Exactly right, double C on that one. But the empowered Q damage out of that Varus was just huge. Eliminating Naehyun from behind all of his other teammates that were standing on the same pixels. And you can just see how important it is to have Joker on the team if you're a SANDBOX player, because this guy is the voice in the team fights.
And now coming back into live, this is the struggle. The Sivir not quite strong enough, neither is the Ryze, to try to resist Baron enhanced minions this early on. Normally, SANDBOX shouldn't be able to get a Baron until a couple of minutes from now in a standard game, but due to the way that whole team fight just unfolded, they have it a lot earlier than normal. They have elected not to get the Ocean Dragon to try to cause another Infernal or something to respawn.
Well, Shock Blast flying forward. Yeah, you're exactly right. Deft able to spell shield to get out of that scatter the weak stun, but there are so many of these non-committal CCs that can just fly onto the King Zone members, and they have to be careful of all of them, because the follow-up is certainly going to be there as well. The long range coming out of Ghost and Summit and Dove with these engage options is certainly there, as we've got Cosmic Radiance. Good slow comes down from the tactical sweep, and Summit has bought a fair bit of time but will eventually fall down. Now OnFleek in trouble. It's a great stun, but he is able to go golden in time. Cuzz on the flank though as OnFleek trying to get out, but is unable to. Flashed after as King Zone have taken this fight. Joker's going to go down. Skin not so thick now, my friend, as 4 are dead on the side of SANDBOX.
That Ryze ultimate was like Gandalf coming over the mountain. I don't know.
The third night of the third day or something like that. Look to the east, boys and girls.
He's not on the Wizard's Ryze skin, though, so
We needed it. We needed Viger in this game.
And I mean, that's what ends up happening when SANDBOX is split up. Their team composition needs to be together to prevent something like this from happening. And they could see that Summit and OnFleek were a sitting duck. And the thing that I said that I really liked is Rascal refuses to use the Camille ultimate on Jayce, knowing that they can kill Summit without it. Saves it for OnFleek, locks down the Aatrox, and Sir Thomas and Varus have to watch on as the teammates die, but they were coming next. Dove not going to be able to help out much, and so now the Baron push didn't do what it should have, because SANDBOX coordinated it really poorly.
Yeah, and now the Baron is only on one member or something like that, and is going to wear out because they can't play multiple lanes at once, which is what this SANDBOX team composition does very, very well if they get a Baron. In fact, they're probably one of our better Baron compositions when it comes to controlling multiple lanes and putting on that extra pressure. So now, without that option and with 4 extra kills going over to Kingzone, they can continue to bide their time and get the Ryze and Sivir to disastrous levels of power.
And the thing about this that's so interesting is now without any tier 2 turrets remaining, with another open dragon coming up next in 4 minutes, there's very few options for SANDBOX to keep accelerating, and so the gold score at the top should for the most part lock, and this means Kingzone should, in theory, get to the point where their team composition does take over. And it's only a couple of moments away. So now, the tides are turned where SANDBOX is going to be the one that they're going to have to devolve to sort of smoke and mirrors, because realistically, in a straight-up team fight, they shouldn't be able to win.
But their smoke and mirrors options are definitely there. They've got Chains of Corruption to catch anyone out. They've got even Joker to catch people with an Abyssal Voyage if Dove can find a stun, if Summit can find someone walking on their own. Their ability to capitalize on mistakes, as we saw earlier on in this game, is certainly there. So whether they can actually find them and whether Kingzone are going to make those mistakes as this game goes on is going to be the question mark here, as 3,000 gold is going to be the lead for SANDBOX. They've got that one dragon, but it's the only good one that we've seen so far this game. Now Kingzone are looking to try and get some positioning around this Baron area. Baron not going to turn up again for another minute, but both of these teams need to get control of this area. Kingzone understanding more than they otherwise would have after the mishaps earlier on in this game.
So now, early control ward placed inside of the Baron pit. Not going to be up until 50 seconds from now, but the wave clear for Kingzone is extremely powerful now.
And also, the item spikes are gigantic. Yeah. They just finished the Guardian Angel on Camille. Rascal can be a bit more of a frontliner, and the rapid fire cannon just got completed for Deft. So this is a Sivir that is well and truly online at this point in the game. He was already accelerated, has a huge CS lead.
Yeah.
1-0 and 4.
Varus isn't going to have his third item completion for this team fight either, so things are definitely going to be a little problematic. And the Guardian Angel on Camille, she is mostly gunning to hold Aatrox down or help and bringing him down early so that the minigame can't be completed. With the Guardian Angel, it proves to be that much more of a nuisance for Aatrox to get his reset and keep everything going. Zanya's Hourglass on Ryze, Taric ultimate. It's going to be really hard for Aatrox inside of the team fight. Guardian Angels are completed for SANDBOX, but it's not as potent of an item for them as it is for Kingzone.
Speaking of potent items, Ghost has gone for the Bloodthirster as his item number 3 instead of the Infinity Edge. How are you feeling about that one?
It's really weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a fear choice, right? Like, you want to have that overshield, you want to have that staying power in the team fight.
Yeah.
You can understand because, of course, Hurricane, you're going to get a little bit of extra, you know, attack speed, so the lifesteal's going to be better. The overshield's good, so you don't get bursted out. But I think that if there's no Devour on the Varus, he's going to die, right? So maybe get an Infinity Edge so you can do that extra damage in these team fights instead. As our Kingzone are thinking about being sneaky here. There's a control ward that's going to ruin their day. They do try and jump over there as Naehyun. He's got Realm Warp and Teleport, so mobility is certainly not a question mark for him on the bottom side of the map, as Deft is just shoving minion waves relentlessly towards the SANDBOX Nexus.
Now Kingzone are getting control over the Baron side. They have a very ugly top lane right now, but it doesn't really matter because it's in such close proximity. Camille should be able to go up and handle that. Don't like that she actually ate the Blast Cone. It reduces options for his own jungler, if that would come to it. Ocean Dragon coming up after the 30-minute mark, so we'll guarantee that Elder will spawn if it's consumed. It looks like Naehyun actually wants to move down into the bottom lane to try to maybe mess with the Jayce. He is down 2 levels, but doesn't really matter all that much. He's surely going to level up off this wave. I believe there's 2 cannons there, yeah.
Yeah, should be able to get to level 16 pretty comfortably, which will be that extra point in the Realm Warp, allowing him to move around the map even more effectively. And we're very close to a really cool hat coming in for Dove, but importantly for Kingzone fans, he doesn't have it just yet. Next fight, we're looking at the difference makers being that Infinity Edge that Kingzone haven't fought with on their Sivir, sorry, the Rapid Fire Cannon, and things like the Guardian Angel completion. As also Cuzz has gone super utility with his 2 choices. We're buffing up this Sivir as much as possible. Even the Zeke's Convergence in there as well as the Knight's Vow.
And now Ryze is split pushing. And so right now the onus is on SANDBOX to come up with a way to force a team fight. They're going to get the red buff, which is actually really good. They actually put it on Summit instead of Ghost, which is a little bit interesting. I guess it's because they want to move Summit back to try to hold the Ryze at the bottom inhibitor.
I love this as a 4-1 though, because you know the Kingzone are pretty happy for a fight to get started as they're going to start one up themselves. Cosmic Radiance means that they can't do anything. Joker's going to go down for free. Rascal now trying to flash on over. Remember, the Guardian Angel is still there, but it's Summit that goes down first. Dove tries to turn up in time, but Summit is going to go down. It's Sivir getting so many kills in this fight, but the health bars are so low. The flash from Ghost is not quite enough as Sivir finally falls. Realm Warps in, Naehyun flashes over. Dove is going to go down, and Kingzone find their team fight. They find their ace, and they might even be able to get Baron unless they go for the base instead.
I think that they're going to go for the base. Deft has teleport available. Don't think that they're actually going to need it. They might just want 30%. I think they have enough to get the inhibitor and then go back to the... no, they don't. These champs suck it.
Yeah, they're looking... Yeah, they're looking
Those are really bad. That's like watching America try to erect a building. That takes months. I know you're from Australia.
Yeah, and you're also from Korea, right? So we put up buildings in this... Sorry, well, like, you're here in Korea right now. You're here in Korea. You're talking from a Korean perspective when it comes to putting up buildings. They put them up in, like, 2 seconds, man.
Like, a month. I looked out my window. I live on the 16th floor. Yeah. I looked out my window, and I'm like, wait,
I can't see the sun anymore today. Like, what's happening?
What just happened?
All of a sudden, there's a brand new high-rise. That's what happens here in Korea. It's insane. We have a look at this fight once again. Kingzone just finding their movement.
And Summit made a horrible teleport decision. He teleported right into the heart of Kingzone. And this was an Independence Day for him, I'll tell you that much. As SANDBOX got massacred inside of this team fight. And what we're taking a look at here as well is the team fights only get worse for SANDBOX as the items keep coming in for the members of Kingzone. And so now, with them having the Baron, SANDBOX is going to need a pick if they want to stay in this game realistically.
Well, Deft went back and completed a full Phantom Dancer and an Unmagic Mantle. So
not impressed. Yeah,
life is just getting better and better for the Kingzone 80 carry. As he suffered his first death in that last fight, he was able to get so much AoE down. And speaking of which, Cuzz is going to start one up yet again. Dove in trouble. Cosmic Radiance means the Kingzone can't even be fought back against. And SANDBOX are just dying one after the other. Ghost is there, he's got some damage, but he doesn't have a health bar. And that is the easiest ace that we've seen in a long time. Kingzone just crushed SANDBOX, and they should win the game.
You know, and this was actually a really good game to showcase 2 types of team compositions and when they get strong and when they become weak. Because SANDBOX, they were in the driver's seat, their team comp was doing what it was designed to do, and eventually the scaling from Kingzone does kick in. And all it took was one really big error around the threshold where Kingzone becomes strong for them to just retake control of the